Hello again, everyone. This is Jan. Welcome to another episode of a Saturday evening chat. You are so kind to come back again, twice in the same day and on the weekend, no less. I appreciate every one of you. Thank you so much. I want to talk to you today. Usually, my Saturday evening chats could be like maybe more of an and more kind of subject, as opposed to like the remainder of the week, the other part of the week where I talk a lot about saving money. Sometimes there are other things in life that are more important than money. Actually, most of the time, but we still need money. Money is an important tool. We learn how to manage it and work with it. And but tonight, it's going to maybe take the back burner because what I have to say has to do with something that I don't know if it's an old fashioned thought or whatever, or something that I implemented when I was a school teacher. I think, and as a student too, I think there is something to be said about the joyful, great feeling one has when they earn something, like really earned something. For example, let's say a good grade, for example, or a promotion, on a job, or some sort of thing that you like literally earned. Yes, and it took maybe hard and smart work to do it. Isn't that to me in the back of my mind's eye, to me that strikes me more as important as opposed to, let's say, the easy way out, so called, and somebody hands you something. Sometimes not so fast. It's not necessarily the easy way out. You see, here's what I believe. I believe that experience is the best teacher, better than any teacher in the world. Okay. Think of when you were a kid. Didn't it feel really, really good to get that 100 on a test that you studied hard for? Seriously, didn't it feel really, really good to find that gold star that you earned? Not because, well, you get this, feeling like somebody's kind of feeling sorry for you and put a little gold star on your page, as opposed to, that you stayed up extra time the night before and practice, let's say for a spelling exam, and you got everything right. You walked away with a 100. There is something to be said about earning things. I'm telling you. All right, so that's one thing. I said I wasn't going to talk about money, but I just realized this has to do a lot with money. Okay. Let's talk about like just some basic, having nothing to do with any specific other thing that maybe we might have talked about in the past. But this has to do with like kind of like logical thing, as far as like spending money. We live in a world where, especially here, where one of the greatest things, and I think people at times could possibly take it for granted, and it's really kind of like not a good thing to take for granted. The idea of a free enterprise, the idea of being able to start up a business, the idea of having something that's uniquely your own, whether it's a product or a service. It could be yourself as a solo person in your organization, a solo entrepreneur, or just I call it a solopreneur, right? Or something where you have a limited licensing kind of thing, or whatever it is, or you start a corporation, whatever it is. I think it's amazing, wonderful thing, the free enterprising thing. We could be thinkers and doers and creators, and absolutely, absolutely. Now, I think because of some huge bad decisions that were made, let's just call it like that, huge bad decisions that were made. To everything in life there's a consequence. Could be a good consequence, could be a bad consequence. Okay, so I believe that we are feeling the ill effects at bad decision making now. Supposedly we're on the mend in certain ways. Okay, but I think that there is still like a long trail left behind, and slowly but surely, and hopefully, but we can't keep making bad decisions. Our decisions have to be well thought of. Okay, our decisions have consequences. Let's go back to taking a test. Listen, when you're a kid in school, you know that your teacher or whoever expects a certain level of responsibility, and either you choose to cooperate with it, or you choose to goof off in class, and then everybody else is passing their subjects, and they get go on to the next grade. Well, back in my day, that's how it worked. If you didn't, if a student failed two subjects, they were retained. Okay. If a student failed one subject, they went to summer school. That's how it was back in the ancient days of when I was a kid. Okay. But as you know, sad as that sounds, it's kind of like an early life lesson that about being responsible. I just think that working smart as well as working hard has its rewards. And I would say like emotional rewards, just knowing you tried your very, very best and you did your very, very best. Okay. But getting back to like economical issues for a minute, it is really not the greatest idea. Certain ideas, when people want to propose certain things, have to think twice. At first, some things that are offered in some certain situations. Some things may sound to the person that's listening and maybe doesn't really care too much about economical issues. And it sounds really, really good to that person. Like, wow, gee, you know what? You know what? We're going to have this like lower price on such and such. I ask myself, and I am not a math person, as anybody's been following my channel knows that, except for being a bean counter and talking about money. But other than that, I'm not a math person. All right. Math is not my favorite subject. But let's think about something. If a person owns a business, well, my grandparents, okay, they had a business during the Depression. Okay, so they had their own little mom and pop grocery store, and for the most part, did well. The whole neighborhood, in the city, they flocked over there. Then, of course, came the Depression, and my grandparents had hearts of gold. Okay, they extended credit. They extended credit to people and people that they knew, and some of the people paid it back. Some of the people did not pay it back. But roll it forward to the moment of now. Let's think about something. If somebody has a mom and pop grocery store and there is a lid, let's say, on prices, it may sound good to the consumer that may be unfamiliar, but eventually it's going to backfire. It is not going to be good. Because how could a business owner, for example, sustain their business in a profitable manner? Okay, how could that happen? So it's not going to happen, and it's going to have ill effects. So when people close down businesses, guess what? Jobs are lost. Okay, so it kind of has like a negative domino effect. I know there was one situation way back in the 70s where it was like a band-aid method and it worked one time to do that. But then when that same person implemented that idea again a few years later, the second time around, it didn't work out and it was a real mess. So we have to think about things, in a more logical manner. We just have to take that minute and not like just like go for the bait, if you will. Oh wow, that little shiny red penny. I call everything a red penny if it's something I want. That shiny red penny is going to be what? That's it? That's all? That's all I have to pay for it? May sound good, but guess what? At the end of the day, it's not going to work out. And it's all about supply and demand. So if a person or persons, for example, want to consider, let's say, that kind of mathematical opportunity, or so-called opportunity, I don't think it works out unless, and again, I'm no mathematician by any stretch, unless every single item is rolled back permanently. I don't know. It has a history of not working out. So I think that to everything there is a consequence. It's like sometimes like the tempting piece of pie. Oh my goodness, one of my favorite pies happens to be either apple crumb or peach crumb. Just in case anybody was wondering, yes, I have not had that since like forever ago. But if I had that, okay, that shiny, beautiful piece of pie, and if that's all I ever had, okay, a morning, noon, and night, that is not going to have a good effect on me. Okay. We have to think down the road. We have to not just think of the moment of now, oh wow, that sounds really, really good, et cetera, et cetera. I just think we have to be extremely careful in our thinking. I mean, is it really a bright, shiny penny? I mean, certain things do feel more, like in a refreshed manner, if you will. But you want to know something? I look at track record. And if that I can't talk. If that track record, that's what I get for talking so much. If that track record has been proving properly with great results, then why would I not want that? As opposed to, well, I'm not sure of that, those other options of track records. Some things just don't add up to me. This is the way I feel. I'm just mentioning my feel. I'm not telling anyone what to do in any way, shape, manner, or form. I'm just like outlining, the facts, if you will. Some things have proven track records. Some things have negative proven records, good, bad, or indifferent. It's up to the person. A person has to really think about their own personal circumstance. So, for example, when a person makes, let's say, an important, really important decision, down the line, if you will, really, really think of the overall picture. You can't worry about what your friends may think. You can't think about the fact that grandma voted a certain way, for example. I'm just using that term for whatever. You can't think about that. You have to think about what is best for your personal circumstances. I cannot answer that for you, but only you can answer that by yourself. Don't forget to keep your foot on that gas pedal, and let's never get complacent. We just want to have things in a great way. Am I right or am I right? Have an amazing, fantastic day. Thank you so much for being here. I really do appreciate everybody's time. Take good care.